In this day and age, the stimulation of the pleasure centers in the mind seem to take precedence over consuming ideas of much substance. I would know from the countless hours I spend watching silly 6ix9ine videos. Increasingly, I forego wonderful books for mind-numbing content due to the quick dopamine releases I get from consuming mindless but amusing material. This is why Watership Down is such a valuable read. It has the compelling action of a modern book, while still being a classic in conveying thought-provoking themes. The story revolves around a band of rabbits that flee their warren, or society, based on various issues they have with the aforementioned warren. The book follows their explorations of various other warrens and societies as they attempt to find or create their own home. The novel examines various broad societal themes on a deeper level, coupled with great character chemistry and great adventure on a superficial level. The novel was not without flaw, however.
The aforementioned premise of the book receives a lot of focus from the author. When reading through a shallow, pleasure-based lens, it can be seen as boring in some settings. The expository section of the book is pretty repetitive, with a small variety of techniques. Adams primarily uses Victorian-style description, over-chronicling the setting around the characters. This is an acquired taste, and I personally dislike this style consistently. There is also no subtlety in the methods used by the author. The foreshadowing and the flashbacks are blatant, and the metaphors are evident. Not only is the dialogue cliched and unsurprising, but the characters are too. Characters like Hazel are extremely one-dimensional. How many times have you heard of a reluctant leader who turns out to have a knack for decision-making? But all of these shortcomings are excused, in the sense that a profound and deep reader would pick up the societal implications and lessons that are illustrated. Watership Down is a childish and pleasant adventure story, not a deep dive into human nature and psychology. The dialogue was endearing, and it was written like a children's story or fable. There were also instances in the story when I feel Adams knew exactly what he was leaving out and including. It felt like he wanted us to focus on the actions of the rabbits, and help the readers grasp the societal themes that overlay the story. He was highlighting what he wanted us to understand and take away from his novel, as he was placing a lens upon our reading experience. The author relies on charming dialogue, an appealing plot, and underlying themes to hold the intrigue of the reader.
One of the main reasons why this book is such a good one is due to the plot of the story. A good story must have an intriguing plot in order for that story to be considered an interesting read, and the story Watership Down has a great plot that simultaneously furthers the themes. One of the reasons for this is because of the many problems faced during the story, the main issue being survival. They encounter so many hardships, setbacks, and obstacles throughout the story. After all, what is a story without a conflict? Also, the plot of the story has to always have an exposition, a rising action, a climax, a falling action, and the resolution. The exposition or orientation occurs at the very beginning of the story, where the main characters are introduced. The rising actions occur as they move from field to field as they are trying to find a stable home because their old one was going to be destroyed. The main rising action, however, is when they go on their expedition. Throughout the climax, the author increases the pacing and supports the themes further. All in all, Watership Down has a good plot that examines society in meaningful ways, producing themes that can still be seen today. I say this because wherever the rabbits went, there were issues that can still be transferred into real life. This is true in society today, as different places in the world have so many problems as a society. For example, in China, there is a restriction in practicing one's religion. Russia, another country today, post-breakup of the Soviet Union, has a lot of regional nationalistic expressions, and therefore political restrictions have been placed on a majority of people. These restrictions have parallels throughout the novel. The plot of Watership Down really connects to the world today, and that is a big reason why the plot is good, thus making the book as a whole much better. This means that not only was the plot gripping, but it was also meaningful.
Overall, the story provided a great plot with provoking themes, despite being a bit difficult to get into at first because of pacing. It proves to be a fast-paced and an amazing read later on. We would recommend Watership Down to readers who just want to reflect upon society without having to read outright
Philosophical
texts, or just for anyone looking for a fun adventure novel. It is a good blend of profound story and a fable. We would give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?